Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide, and today is another look at the Remarkable Paper Pro Move. No, not the in-depth review yet. I had to deal with some real-world obligations kind of stuff, so that kind of got delayed a little bit, but it's coming soon. But today we're going to be covering things that you really need to know if you are considering, you're interested in, or you're saving up to maybe buy the Remarkable Paper Pro Move. The very first thing that you need to know is that this is a specialist device. This is not a generalist. This device has been designed from its conception to its realization to be a portable notebook digital device, which means that it's meant to serve the purpose of a digital notebook on the go. And as such, it does that job well. Not perfectly, but it does it well, which means that this is an excellent device for writing. It has an excellent writing feel, it has excellent writing latency, it has good writing capabilities, which is a limitation of the Remarkable platform and ecosystem. But if that's something that you're familiar with and it already kind of suits you, then you're going to have the same exact functionality as you have on the bigger Remarkable devices on this one, just in this more portable format. Speaking of the format, which really does lend itself well for writing, as an e-reader, you would be inclined and you would be excused for expecting this device to actually be excellent as an e-reader as well, because look at it. I mean, it's kind of like meant to be a portable e-reader, but it doesn't really work as an e-reader almost at all. Remarkable as a platform is already, as it is, extremely limited and not a good functioning e-reader platform to begin with. When you put that severely limited reader platform on this format and you don't do any kind of adjustments to the platform and e-reader functionalities and you just kind of dump it onto this, you're not going to have a good time. Neither EPUBs nor PDFs are a good reading experience, and this comes down to the very simple fact that the e-reader is simply unable to utilize the vertical format or the 16:9 format if you look at it from a landscape point of view on this device. What does that mean? Well, that means that if you're gonna try and read a standard PDF file, which is, of an A4 format, that means that you're going to have a lot of unused room above and below the content of the page, and the content of the page itself is going to be super, super tiny. Unfortunately, Remarkable Reader platform does not have a PDF reflow functionality, which would have been basically an ideal and in some ways a must for a device like this. If it had that, and if that functionality worked properly and reliably, then this could have a potential to become a really, really good e-reader. But I would not honestly hold my breath because of the state of the ebook and the EPUB reader on a Remarkable as a platform. That one is as bad as it was 7 long years ago when, Remarkable One first launched. You still have really unreliable, really long waiting time for the book to kind of reformat if you want to change the font size or the alignment or things like that. And bizarrely, it too doesn't utilize the full page real estate on the Move. Go figure. Some of you may say, well, okay, then just flip it up to landscape format and then it's much better. Yes, it is, but there too you have one fundamental issue, and that is that the page swipe functionality still does a page swipe and it doesn't actually slide the content down to the bottom of the page and then do a swipe, as is normal functionality on other platforms. This, as I commented in the first impressions, should have been an absolute must on a device like this. Instead, on this device, if you want to read in landscape format, you have to do the 2-page swipes and scrolling kind of a gesture, which is really not a good time, and you forget where you were, what you were doing, how to find content. It just is not a real-world usable type of a solution. So as an e-reader, this device does not cut it. it says move in the name, therefore it has to be portable, right? Well, yes, and to a large degree it is, but don't imagine that it's going to fit into all of your pockets comfortably, because it is still a sizable device. That means that you can fit it in some of your pants pockets, front or back. You can't fit it in your shirt front pocket, and while that can physically fit, it's not going to be a comfortable time. You're going to run a risk of maybe damaging the device, and you're certainly not going to be able to sit down whether you have it in the front or the back pocket. Portability of the Remarkable Paper Pro comes into play best with jacket pockets and a portable pouch or a carry bag of some sort. For those kinds of situations, in most of the jackets, I didn't have problems with the inner pockets. With the outer pockets, normally it didn't quite fit. Depends, of course, on the pocket size, but the inner pockets normally functioned. And then I felt actually normal and fine, because I knew that the device is protected, it's not going to fall out of the pocket and things like that. And to be quite honest, I don't really need or require from a portable device to fit into my jeans pockets or something like that, because that's simply not practical. So for me, the fact that this device can fit into your regular carry bag or pouch, or more importantly, inside pockets of your jacket, that is something that does successfully put it into a real-world usable portable type of a device. And having lived with it now for almost a month, I can attest to real-world usability and portability of this device in that scope. Screen refresh technology of the Gallery 3 display, despite Remarkable having achieved some really good or the best results that you can get currently out of that screen technology, it still will not be for everyone. The refresh methodology, the blinky nature of it, the slowness of it, and yeah, just the overall performance action, wait, it blinks, it does things, then it cleans itself up. It's like, it feels like it's constantly doing something, and once it is done, it will present a nice image, but the in-between kind of stuff can really get in the way of your writing, or especially reading and things like that. So the very nature and the limitations of the Gallery 3 technology that the Remarkable Paper Pro Move uses will not be for everyone, and this can easily be a deal breaker for some. Format itself, the 916, actually lends itself particularly well not only for writing but for notebooks as well. Although somewhat narrower than what I'm used to for a portable notebook, it does resemble it in a really good way. And writing on this device and using it as a portable notebook felt natural. Yes, the edges are a little bit kind of too narrow and sometimes not really super comfortable when you're just kind of laying your hand on the side here while writing, but it was a minor issue. My overall impression was that this actually works in real world as a portable note-taking notebook or a digital notebook, especially with the inclusion of the infinite scrolling, vertical scrolling page. Normally, I'm not a fan of that feature and functionality on the other Remarkable devices, but on the Remarkable Paper Pro, it actually lends itself in a really good way, and I found myself using it far more than I did on any of the other Remarkable devices. Remarkable advertises 2 weeks of battery life on the Remarkable Paper Pro Move, and I really think that the manufacturers should put like a big, like in big block letters, not as small asterisks that are really difficult to find if they are at all present, to kind of define in which conditions and under what type of circumstances you're able to get that kind of battery life. Because let me tell you, in reality, this device is not going to last 2 weeks, no matter what you do. Writing, reading, or anything like that, the Paper Pro Move cannot last 2 weeks. The only way that it actually can last 2 weeks, which is a really kind of good side of it, is the standby mode. This device holds power in a really efficient way when it is in standby and sleeping mode. But as soon as you start using it, whether for reading, whether for writing, with or without the front light, it doesn't matter. it's going to spend that battery very, very quickly. And in reality, I think that you're going to be lucky to see maybe 3 to 5 days of real world use, and that's if you're not using it heavily. If you are relying on taking notes several hours a day, you may actually end up in a situation that this one may just last one day with an extensive type of note-taking use, which it is actually designed to do. So 2 weeks of battery life? Nah. Not gonna happen. The gallery screen is a color ePaper screen with cyan, magenta, yellow, and white ink cells, and it uses to combine all of this and form a color image. The end result is that the formed image resembles very, very closely a printed type of magazine color reproductions. So while not perfectly accurate, by no means, it is a pleasant type of reproduction and something that you can very, very easily use to differentiate and consume color content, should you choose to do so, but then you run into that limitation of it not really being a good e-reader, so your color content is going to be kind of limited just to your writing in colors and maybe some kind of markings in color, for which it does a good job. The other addition, which is a really good one, is the inclusion of a front light, which is a very, very nicely balanced front light. You cannot adjust the color itself, but the color of the front light is already balanced to supplement the colors of the screen itself. So it doesn't matter really which intensity you use, it will not wash out the color content that much, and the intensity is more than enough if you turn on the high intensity mode in the settings for the front light. And those two inclusions, the color and the front light, actually add to the overall versatility of the Remarkable Paper Pro Move, because it means that you can consume color contents with ease, you can differentiate content with color, note takes and things like that with ease, and most importantly, the front light will give you the ability and freedom to use it seamlessly in any types of lighting conditions, freeing you to be more flexible. Writing feel on the Remarkable Paper Pro Move is exactly the same as it is on the Remarkable Paper Pro, its big sibling. And that writing feel is not a clear-cut story, mainly because it has a lot of excellent attributes associated with it and a couple of attributes that are really not that good, and they can be so off-putting that they have caused some of their users to actually move away from Remarkable Paper Pro, and I assume the same story would be with the Paper Pro Move, which is a shame because, as we've already discussed, this is a device primarily made for note-taking. And if the writing feel is not up to your alley, then that's going to be a problem. So what is it that you need to know about the writing feel on the Remarkable Paper Pro Move? Well, there are two things. First one is there is a sense of hardness. It's not exactly the same like it is on an iPad because you have this surface relief type of paper-like roughness structure of the glass itself. So it's not glidey, but you do still have hard plastic nib making contact with the hard glass, and that is not only a tactile hard type of a feel, but it also produces a very, very audible click and clack first contact type of a sound all the time while you're writing. This is something that a lot of users have reacted to, and I have also reacted to. Can you get used to it? I don't think that you can get completely used to it, but you can grow to tolerate it over a relatively short period of time. However, once you do make contact with the screen and you start gliding that pen or nib over the surface of the screen, then the tactile feel, the roughness, the contact between these two surfaces, the friction between them, and the sound itself is extremely pleasant. And that feels really, really nice. So you have this kind of push me, pull me type of writing feedback from both Remarkable Paper Pro and the Paper Pro Move, which is unfortunately present constantly, because you have first content, click, negative, ooh, feels nice. Then you lift, click again, negative, nice. So it's constantly like doing this kind of thing as far as writing comfort goes. Whether or not this is something that's going to be a deal breaker for you, something that you can actually get used to, or something that doesn't bother you at all, that's unfortunately a very subjective kind of thing. But fortunately, you do have a generous return policy with the purchase of this device, so you do have that option of trying it out, allowing yourself actually a little bit of time to see, hey, can I get used to this or not? Is it the right fit for me or not? And then make a decision and say, yeah, I'm sticking with it, or no, it's not for me, and then you can return it. Design itself and the build quality is done really, really well. It's one of those that you, at least for me, I wanted to interact with it more. When I would be finished working with Paper Pro Move, I would look forward to the opportunity to use it again, but again, only in that narrow section where it's comfortable to perform tasks. As soon as you kind of veer off even a smidge left or right of that very narrow comfort zone that the Paper Pro Move resides in, it was not a good time, and not because of the design or anything like that. It was mainly due to the platform limitations, but the overall build quality, the design and the format of the device is very, very nice, very pleasant, and something that's inviting for the user to use and spend time with. And lastly, it's a portable device that's not splash proof, not waterproof, not any kind of H2O proofness of any sort. It has no IP certifications or anything like that, so no, it's not gonna be able to handle rain or drops into puddles or anything like that. It's not designed to do that, and that to me is a big, big no-no for a device that is supposed to be portable, let alone when you put the price into consideration for all of this. So those are the essential things that you really need to know about the Remarkable Paper Pro Move if you are considering to buy it or use it. This is an interesting device, but it has a couple of really big problems. The number one problem is that absurdly and inexcusably high price. You can put a really, really high price on a device, but when you do something like that and you deliver a fairly niche and limited type of functionality device, it absolutely needs to deliver flawlessly and be better than anything else on the market to actually be able to start to justify the price for something like this. Unfortunately, the Paper Pro Move does not do that. While it is excellent as a portable notebook replacement, that role it fills not perfectly, but in a really, really good way, and it fills in this kind of narrow gap that we do have between 10.3-inch devices, 7.8-inch devices, the 4:3 format, and all that kind of stuff. You don't really have anything like this if this happens to be the exact thing that you're looking for and relying. For that very, very narrow gap that does exist, it fills it in nicely for note-taking, and it also does serve a purpose as a conversation starter if that's something that you're interested in or you put any kind of value on that. However, for the price, one would expect that a portable device like this could also function as a fully fledged functional e-reader, and this is where Remarkable Paper Pro Move falls flat on its face. It simply does not do any of the e-reader functionalities that you would expect from a device like this. It doesn't do them remotely well enough to be considered a capable or even a good e-reader at all. Ultimately, it comes back to that really, really unjustifiably high price. And that price is way too high for the amounts of limitations and compromises that you will need to live with if you want to use the Remarkable Paper Pro Move. These limitations are simply going to be way too much for anyone except the few that actually fit into this really, really well-defined, narrow, niche kind of a gap of a type of person who has been waiting patiently for years for exactly a device of this type. For them, this will be a perfect fit, and the money will not be an object because you do not have an alternative. But that niche and that gap is extremely narrow. So this is not going to be a be-all and end-all for a majority of people. Nope, this is a highly specialized device that is going to make a handful of people really, really happy. A wider portion of people are going to say like, it's okay and I can use it as a supplement to my other remarkable device, but still that price is gonna sting and it's not really gonna feel like it can justify its price. But for the overwhelming majority of people, nah, that price, those limitations, they just don't meld together in a logical way. So there you go. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below, and make sure to check notifications all, otherwise you're gonna get, yeah, maybe a notification that the My Deep Guide video came out, or maybe not, depending on the mood of the very, very moody and strange YouTube algorithm that it's going through. I guess puberty phase? That would be the right years now, right? So maybe it's the puberty thing. Either way, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!